Listen carefully, because this is not something you hear every day. There are people walking this earth right now unnoticed, uncelebrated, misunderstood. And yet, everything they do, every quiet sacrifice, every silent decision is being watched, recognized, and recorded in ways they don't even realize. If you've ever felt like your efforts go unseen, like you're giving more than you receive, like your journey is harder for no clear reason, then this message is not random. Because what if I told you nothing you've done has been ignored? What if I told you your actions are being recognized in powerful ways beyond human eyes? And what if deep down you already feel it? You've always known you were different. Not better, not above others. Just different. While others followed noise, you questioned it. While others chased approval, you pulled away from it. You didn't fit into the patterns that everyone else seemed comfortable living in. And that difference came with a cost. You were misunderstood. Sometimes isolated. Sometimes doubted, even by the people closest to you. But here's the truth most people never realize. Being chosen was never meant to feel comfortable. It was meant to refine you. Because the chosen one isn't someone who lives an easy life. It's someone who is shaped, tested, and elevated through experiences others would never survive. You didn't just wake up one day awakened. You were pushed into it. Through pain. Through confusion. Through moments where everything you believed collapsed. And yet you kept going. That's the first sign. You didn't break, even when you had every reason to. And now something is shifting. You can feel it. The same silence that once felt empty now feels powerful. The same loneliness that once hurt now feels like protection. Because what you didn't realize before is that your journey was never invisible. Every time you chose discipline over distraction. Every time you stayed silent instead of reacting. Every time you walked away from what no longer aligned. You were being recognized. Not by people, but on a level far deeper. Because recognition for the chosen doesn't come in applause. It comes in alignment. Opportunities start appearing unexpectedly. Clarity replaces confusion. You begin to see through people, through situations, through illusions. And suddenly, things that once controlled you no longer have power over you. That's not luck. That's confirmation. But here, where it gets even more real. The moment your actions begin to be recognized is the same moment resistance increases. You might notice people acting differently toward you. Some become distant. Some misunderstand you even more. Some may even try to pull you back into your old self. And it won't make sense at first. Until you realize, not everyone is meant to understand your evolution. Because your growth challenges their comfort. Your awareness exposes their illusions. And your silence makes them uncomfortable. So they react. Not because you're wrong, but because you're changing. And that change cannot be controlled. This is why many chosen ones try to shrink themselves again. To fit back in. To avoid the tension. To feel normal again. But every time you do that, something inside you resists. Because once you awaken, you cannot unsee. Once you rise, you cannot truly go back down. And that inner resistance you feel, that's your soul refusing to go backwards. Because your actions are no longer just actions. They are signals. Signals of who you are becoming. Signals of what you are aligning with. Signals that your life is moving into a higher level of purpose. Even if you can't fully see it yet. And this is where most people give up. Right before everything begins to make sense. Because the recognition you seek doesn't always show up the way you expect. It doesn't always come as success, or validation, or visible rewards. Sometimes it comes as separation, as doors closing, as people leaving, and that can feel painful. But what if those endings are actually confirmations? What if what's leaving your life was never meant to go where you're going? Because here's the deeper truth. You're not being overlooked. You're being prepared. Every delay is discipline. Every challenge is sharpening you. Every moment of doubt is building your awareness. And the more you stay aligned, the more you move with intention, the more your actions continue to be recognized in ways that will eventually become undeniable. There will come a moment where everything starts to connect, where the confusion turns into clarity, where the waiting turns into movement. And when that moment arrives, you'll realize something powerful. Nothing you went through was wasted. Not the pain, not the silence, not the struggle. It was all part of the process. And you stayed through it. That's what makes you different. That's what makes you chosen. Not perfection, but persistence. Not noise, but awareness. Not recognition from the world, but alignment within yourself. So if you've been feeling unseen, if you've been questioning your path, if you've been wondering if any of this even matters, let this be your confirmation. It does, more than you realize. You are being recognized, not for what you show the world, but for who you are becoming when no one is watching. So don't stop now. Don't go back. Don't shrink yourself to make others comfortable. Because the version of you that's emerging is not meant to be hidden. It's meant to rise. And if this message resonated with something deep inside you, then don't ignore that feeling. Engage with it. Like this video so more people who feel lost can find clarity. Comment below and share what part of your journey you're currently in. And subscribe to Return to Awakening, because this is only the beginning of what you're about to understand. And even now, there are moments you can't explain. Moments where you pause and feel like something unseen is guiding you. Not controlling you, but nudging you. Subtle shifts. Quiet instincts. A voice that doesn't shout, but always feels right. You've learned to trust it more lately. Because every time you ignored it in the past, things felt off. And every time you followed it, even when it didn't make sense, it led you somewhere meaningful. That's not coincidence. That's alignment strengthening. Because when your actions begin to be recognized on a deeper level, your awareness sharpens. You start noticing things others overlook. Energy changes in a room. Intentions behind words. Truth hidden beneath appearances. And this awareness can feel overwhelming at first, because you begin to see how much of the world operates on autopilot. Patterns repeating, people reacting instead of thinking, chasing things they don't even truly want. And you can't go back to that, even if you tried. That's why sometimes you feel disconnected. Not because something is wrong with you, but because you've outgrown environments that once felt normal. And growth often feels like isolation before it feels like expansion. But here's what most don't understand. Isolation is not punishment. It's preparation. Because when you are constantly surrounded by noise, you can't hear direction clearly. And when your path requires precision, silence becomes necessary. That's why certain phases of your life feel quiet. Slower, almost like nothing is happening. But beneath that stillness, everything is being recalibrated. Your mindset, your habits, your responses, your identity. Because recognition at a higher level demands a higher version of you. And that version cannot be built in chaos. It must be built in awareness. You've probably noticed this too. Things that once triggered you don't hit the same anymore. Situations that once drained you no longer hold that power. People who once influenced your emotions now feel distant in impact. That's not detachment in a negative way. That's elevation. You're no longer reacting. You're observing. And that shift alone changes everything. Because when you stop reacting to everything, you start choosing everything. And that is where your power truly begins. But with that power comes another challenge. Responsibility. Because once you become aware, you can't pretend anymore. You can't ignore what you know. You can't keep repeating patterns you've already outgrown. And that can feel heavy. Because awareness doesn't always make life easier. It makes it real. It forces you to confront things directly. Your habits, your environment, your relationships, your purpose. And sometimes that truth is uncomfortable. But it's necessary. Because everything that is being revealed to you is being revealed for a reason. Not to overwhelm you, but to refine you. And this is where your actions matter more than ever. Because recognition is not just about being seen. It's about being trusted with more. More clarity, more responsibility, more impact. And not everyone reaches that level. Because many people run from growth when it becomes uncomfortable. But you didn't. You stayed. Even when it was confusing. Even when it felt lonely. Even when progress didn't look the way you expected. You stayed consistent in ways no one else noticed. And that consistency, that quiet discipline, is exactly why your actions are being recognized now. Because real growth is not loud. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't need attention. It builds in silence. Until one day, it becomes undeniable. And that day is closer than you think. But here's something you need to understand clearly. The recognition you're stepping into will require you to fully accept who you are becoming. No more doubting yourself. No more shrinking your voice. No more pretending to fit into spaces that no longer align. Because the moment you start dimming your growth is the moment you delay your next level. And deep down, you feel that inner pull, that quiet push forward, that feeling that you are meant for something more, even if you can't fully define it yet. That feeling is not random. It's a signal, a reminder, a confirmation that your path is unfolding exactly as it should. Even if it doesn't look perfect, even if it doesn't feel fast. Because not everything that matters moves quickly. Some things take time to build properly. And your journey, it's one of those things. Carefully built, step by step, lesson by lesson, moment by moment. And every action you've taken, every decision you've made, every time you chose growth over comfort, has been adding up. Nothing lost, nothing wasted, only building, only aligning, only preparing you for what's next. And what's next won't look like what you expected. Because most people think recognition means everything suddenly becomes easy. But for you, it becomes clearer. Not easier, clearer. You begin to see exactly what needs to stay and what must go. No confusion. No second guessing. Just a quiet certainty that doesn't need validation. And that kind of clarity, it changes how you move. You stop chasing. You stop forcing. You stop trying to convince people to understand you, because you realize what is truly aligned will not require you to explain your worth, and what isn't aligned will naturally fall away. This is why your circle starts changing, not because you're rejecting people, but because your energy is no longer matching certain environments. Conversations feel different. Connections feel different. Even your interests begin to shift. Things that once excited you now feel empty, and things you once ignored now feel meaningful. That's not random. That's transformation happening in real time. And with that transformation comes a new level of awareness about your actions. You become intentional. You think before you speak. You observe before you react. You move with purpose instead of impulse. Because now you understand something most people overlook. Every action carries weight. Every decision creates direction. And every moment is either building you or distracting you. So you choose carefully, even when no one is watching. Especially when no one is watching. Because that's where your recognition is rooted. Not in public moments, but in private discipline. In the choices you make when it would be easier to go back to old habits. In the moments where no one would know if you gave up. But you don't. That's where your power is growing. That's where your identity is solidifying. And slowly, without noise, you are becoming someone unshakable. But here's the part many don't talk about. As you grow into this version of yourself, you may feel misunderstood more than ever before. Because you're no longer operating at the same level of awareness as before. And when you change your perspective, it naturally separates you from those who don't. You might try to explain yourself, but the words don't fully capture what you feel. You might try to connect, but the depth isn't always matched. And for a moment, that can feel lonely. But this time it's different. Because you're not seeking to be understood by everyone anymore. You're seeking alignment, real connection, genuine energy. And that shift is powerful. Because instead of lowering yourself to fit in, you start standing firm in who you are. And the right people, they begin to recognize that. Not all at once, not loudly, but clearly. Because just like your actions are being recognized on a deeper level, so is your presence. You walk into spaces differently now. You carry yourself differently. You speak with intention. You listen with awareness. And even when you say nothing, there's something about you that people feel. They may not understand it, but they sense it. That's what happens when your inner world becomes strong. Your outer presence reflects it. Without effort, without force, without explanation. And this is where everything starts to shift even more. Because when your presence becomes powerful, opportunities begin to align with you. Not because you're chasing them, but because you're ready for them. Situations appear at the right time. Conversations open doors you didn't expect. Paths reveal themselves when you least anticipate it. And it all feels natural, flowing, unforced. Because it is. You're no longer trying to control everything. You're moving in alignment with what's meant for you. And that alignment is a result of every action you've taken up to this point. Every moment of discipline. Every decision to grow. Every time you chose purpose over comfort. It's all coming together. But stay aware. Because this stage also requires something deeper from you. Consistency. Not the loud kind. Not the kind that seeks attention. But the quiet kind that shows up every single day. regardless of mood, regardless of recognition, regardless of results, because what you're building now is not temporary, it's foundational, and foundations must be strong. There will still be moments of doubt, moments where things feel uncertain again, moments where you question if you're really on the right path. But those moments, they are not signs to stop. They are reminders to stay grounded, to stay aware, to stay aligned with who you've become. Because growth is not a straight line. It moves in waves, up and down, forward and pause. But every phase has purpose, and every phase is part of your recognition, not just for what you achieve, but for who you are choosing to be through it all. And right now, you are choosing strength. You are choosing awareness. You are choosing to keep going, even without guarantees. And that alone sets you apart in ways you're only beginning to understand. And now, the subtle shifts you've been feeling are becoming more pronounced. You notice it in how your intuition hits differently. Not a whisper anymore, but a nudge that commands attention. You can't ignore it. It pulls you toward the people, places, and opportunities that align with your highest purpose, and it distances you from what no longer belongs. It may feel strange at first, like the world around you is rearranging itself without your permission, but it's not the world changing randomly. It's your alignment reshaping your reality. Every choice you've made, every sacrifice, every moment of patience has been leading to this unfolding. And here's the thing most overlook. This recognition isn't always visible. Sometimes it shows up as an inner knowing, a calm that surpasses external chaos, a quiet certainty that what you're doing matters, even if no one else can see it yet. Your energy begins to speak before your words. People notice it, even if they can't define it. They feel it. They respect it subconsciously. And this is the power of a chosen one. Your presence resonates deeper than explanation. But with this awareness comes responsibility, not just for yourself, but for how you impact those around you. Your actions, your decisions, your choices, they ripple outward, and often those ripples reach further than you can imagine. You might start seeing patterns in your life that were hidden before. People reappearing, lessons repeating, doors opening in unusual ways. Everything is confirming that you are on your path. Nothing wasted, nothing random. Even resistance now has meaning. Challenges aren't punishment, they are signposts. Tests to show how committed you are to your own evolution. And every time you push through discomfort, your recognition deepens. You may notice that some relationships change. Some people distance themselves. Some misunderstand you. But that's because your frequency is rising. Not everyone can follow you there. And that's okay. Your journey isn't about approval, it's about alignment. As your path unfolds, you will find clarity in ways that used to elude you. Decisions that once felt impossible will now feel natural. Obstacles that once blocked you will now reveal themselves as lessons, and moments of confusion will give way to profound insight. You are learning the ultimate lesson. Recognition is not about applause or validation. It's about becoming someone undeniable, someone whose actions, intentions, and presence radiate alignment, whether anyone sees it or not. And this is why the next phase of your journey is crucial, because the chosen one doesn't pause at recognition. They expand. They rise. They move with a purpose that the world cannot ignore because it is rooted in truth, not ego. Even the quiet moments, the times you feel like nothing is happening, are part of your recognition. Every choice to stay disciplined, every time you choose integrity over convenience, every time you choose growth over comfort, it all accumulates. The universe does not overlook the chosen one. It measures, observes, and aligns opportunities with precision. And what's coming for you is not random. It is the natural consequence of every deliberate step you've taken in alignment with your higher self. You might feel impatience. You might wonder if it's happening fast enough. But awareness teaches patience. True recognition often manifests quietly first, and then unmistakably. It builds momentum behind the scenes before showing itself in full light. And when it does, it will feel like destiny confirming your perseverance. Every struggle, every doubt, every silent battle will suddenly make sense. You will see the invisible threads that connected your choices, your actions, and your sacrifices. But understand this: the chosen one's path is never meant to be comfortable. Comfort is temporary. Growth, alignment, and recognition require persistence, courage, and unwavering commitment to your inner truth. Even when the world questions you, even when voices try to pull you back, even when old patterns tempt you to revert, staying aligned is the ultimate act of recognition. Because the universe isn't impressed by appearances, it is impressed by consistency, by discipline, by quiet determination to follow your calling regardless of resistance. Every day you choose awareness, every day you choose growth, every day you choose to act with purpose, that is when recognition truly solidifies. And that recognition is not fleeting. It is enduring. It cements the path you are on. It strengthens your presence. It elevates your frequency. And it signals to the world that someone extraordinary is walking among them, even if they don't yet understand it. You are becoming undeniable, not because you are loud, not because you demand attention, but because your actions, your integrity, and your alignment speak louder than words ever could. And in that space, you will find something rare, a sense of fulfillment that comes from knowing, even in silence, even in isolation, even in unseen moments, your journey matters. Your presence matters, your actions matter, your choices matter, and your recognition is already in motion. Every step forward, every decision aligned with your higher self, accelerates this recognition, and it will manifest in ways that surpass your imagination. You've been prepared for this. You've been tested, refined, and elevated. And now, your actions are starting to resonate in ways the world cannot ignore. You are becoming someone who commands respect without demanding it, someone whose energy aligns with purpose, someone whose path is unmistakably recognized by forces far greater than human comprehension. And even if the recognition is subtle for now, trust that it is building, like the quiet current beneath a river, moving everything toward its destined ocean. Because what you're experiencing is the early stages of your awakening being acknowledged, and that acknowledgement is powerful beyond measure. Your actions are no longer just personal choices, they are catalysts, signals, proof that the chosen one moves with purpose, proof that your energy carries weight, proof that your journey is not unnoticed. And that's the truth most people never grasp. Recognition is less about external validation and more about becoming someone the universe itself cannot ignore. Every sacrifice, every discipline, every choice to rise above distraction has been recorded, measured, and honored, even if silently. You are in the process of stepping fully into that recognition, and it is magnificent, inevitable, and unstoppable. And now, as you move forward, you begin to notice subtleties that were invisible before. Opportunities arrive in ways you didn't orchestrate. Doors open quietly. Conversations pivot toward growth without effort. People appear at the right time, not by coincidence but by alignment. You realize your energy is attracting what matches your frequency. The actions you once thought were small, the sacrifices, the patience, the discipline, all of them are creating a magnetic force around you. And the recognition you receive now is different. It isn't flashy. It isn't loud, it's subtle, but it resonates deeply. You feel it in your core, in moments of clarity, in doors opening that were previously shut. This is the power of being chosen, not because of status or applause, not because others see it, but because your alignment has shifted. And when your alignment shifts, everything else must adjust accordingly. You may notice people questioning your choices, people reacting to your rise. Some may even try to pull you back into their comfort zones, but their resistance is a confirmation. It's proof that your energy is real, that your presence is powerful, that your journey is unfolding as it should. You start to trust yourself more than ever before. Every instinct, every nudge, every subtle pull toward what feels right. You no longer second-guess your path, because recognition is now internal, grounded in your own awareness. And with that trust comes power. The power to choose who you allow in your space, the power to say no without guilt, the power to act decisively without fear. And every action you take now carries weight, intention, and clarity. Even challenges feel different. They no longer intimidate. They no longer confuse. You see them for what they truly are: markers, lessons, opportunities to refine your discipline and sharpen your alignment. Every time you rise above ego, resistance, or fear, your recognition deepens, not just spiritually but energetically. People begin to notice, even if they cannot articulate why. Your presence begins to shift their energy without effort. And the more you act intentionally, the more your actions ripple. Your influence expands quietly but profoundly. You may never seek it, but it grows naturally. Because the chosen one doesn't need to be loud, the world simply begins to respond. You might feel moments of doubt, moments where it seems like no one sees your effort, moments where progress feels invisible, but that's a test. And with each moment you persist, your recognition compounds. You begin to see that patience is not passive, it is active, it is deliberate. Every choice to stay disciplined, every decision to walk your path despite uncertainty, is accelerating the acknowledgement of your awakening. Your energy starts to feel sharper, your intuition more precise, your alignment more magnetic. And with that, people, opportunities, and experiences begin converging into your path with uncanny precision. Even the quietest acts of integrity are now noticed. Acts you thought were inconsequential are being recorded in ways you cannot yet see. And those actions create momentum that propels you toward your next level. You start understanding something profound. Recognition is not instant. It doesn't always manifest as reward or applause. Often it is subtle. It is felt. It is sensed. It grows quietly before exploding into undeniable reality. And as your awareness deepens, you no longer fear being misunderstood. Misunderstanding becomes a filter. It separates those aligned with your purpose from those who are not. It protects your energy. It strengthens your journey. You begin to move through life with intention. Your decisions are no longer reactive. They are deliberate. Every word, action, and thought is measured against your higher purpose, and that intentionality amplifies the recognition of your presence. Even solitude becomes a gift. Silence is no longer emptiness, it is preparation. It is where your power crystallizes, where your energy refines, where your recognition solidifies in ways unseen, yet undeniable. And as this continues, your life starts to mirror your inner evolution. Opportunities, synchronicities, and alignments manifest in perfect timing. People appear who resonate with your energy. Doors open that were previously locked. And you realize the truth of being chosen. Recognition is not a reward. It is a reflection. A reflection of your growth, your alignment, your persistence, and your unwavering commitment to becoming who you were meant to be. Even small actions now carry profound weight. Moments of patience, compassion, and discipline accumulate into unstoppable momentum, and every choice reinforces the path of your awakening. You begin to see that what was once invisible is now undeniable. What was once overlooked now resonates across dimensions of life you didn't understand before, and your recognition continues to expand quietly but powerfully. And now, you begin to sense the subtle orchestration behind your journey. every challenge you faced, every moment you felt unseen, every decision that felt lonely was shaping you into someone undeniable, not by chance but by design. You notice your energy is different. It attracts truth. It repels falsehood. People who were once distractions now fade away naturally. Situations that once held you back now redirect themselves. It's as if reality itself is aligning with your inner frequency. And here's a secret few understand. The universe recognizes consistent action over loud declarations. Every time you act with integrity, every time you choose growth over comfort, every time you move with purpose, your recognition strengthens. You've become aware that recognition isn't always visible. Sometimes it's a quiet nudge. Sometimes a door opens unexpectedly. Sometimes people show up who intuitively know you're aligned with something higher. These are the echoes of your actions resonating across life. The world may still misunderstand you. It may resist the changes you embody. Some will attempt to pull you back to familiar patterns. But that resistance is confirmation. Your energy is real. Your growth is inevitable. Your path is destined. You begin to see your past struggles differently. What felt like setbacks were actually preparation. What felt like isolation was refinement. What felt like confusion was guidance shaping your awareness. Recognition has always been quietly building behind the scenes. Even silence now feels powerful. In those moments, your awareness deepens. You understand your actions carry energy that influences more than just your immediate surroundings. It moves subtly, shaping circumstances and people around you in alignment with your purpose. You notice your intuition sharpens. Small decisions feel obvious. Subtle signals guide you to make the right choices. And with each aligned choice, your recognition compounds, silently confirming your awakening. Challenges still appear, but they no longer intimidate. They serve as markers, opportunities to refine your resilience, discipline, and clarity. Each obstacle overcome magnifies the impact of your actions, both seen and unseen. Your presence begins to radiate differently. People notice something unique about you, even if they cannot articulate it. Your energy speaks louder than your words, and that resonance is part of the recognition being granted to you. You're learning to move with intention in every interaction. Every word, every action, every gesture carries weight. And those weights, though subtle, create ripples that amplify your influence in ways you're only beginning to understand. Even moments of doubt now serve a purpose. They test your alignment. They measure your persistence. They challenge you to rise above comfort and ego. Every time you choose clarity over hesitation, your recognition grows stronger. You begin to trust the timing of your life. You realize everything unfolds in alignment with your energy. Doors open at the right moment. Connections appear at the right time. Paths reveal themselves naturally, not by force, but by resonance. Every act of patience, every moment of integrity, every choice to follow your inner guidance, it's all accumulating. You're building momentum that no one can see fully yet, but the universe is already responding. You start noticing how even subtle actions carry profound consequences. A single decision aligned with purpose can redirect an entire sequence of events, and the consistency of your choices now ensures that recognition will manifest inevitably. The chosen one's journey is not about immediate reward. It's about alignment. It's about becoming someone whose presence alone signals authority, wisdom, and awareness. And that presence grows stronger with every intentional action. Even isolation now feels sacred. Solitude refines your energy, sharpens your clarity, and strengthens your awareness. Recognition often begins here, in moments unseen, before it radiates outward to manifest visibly. You begin to understand that being chosen isn't about being acknowledged by others. It's about being acknowledged by life itself. Every subtle shift, every synchronicity, every aligned opportunity is proof that your actions are resonating beyond perception. You notice patterns in your life becoming more pronounced. Repeated lessons now make sense. People return in alignment with your growth. Situations arise that confirm your path. Recognition is no longer distant. It is unfolding continuously. And now, every step you take feels deliberate. Every choice feels intentional. Even your silence carries weight. Because the chosen one's recognition is measured by the consistency, discipline, and awareness behind each action. Your awareness deepens further. You no longer need constant confirmation from others. Your internal compass guides you with precision, and the universe responds with subtle alignment, constantly affirming your path.